Hello everyone, I'm Steve from Valhartv, and today I'll be reviewing Masters of the Universe Revelations Part 2. So this is basically the Teela and Evil Lyn show Part 2. So we'll get right into that in just a moment, but we're going to jump right in. This is going to have spoilers in it, so if you guys haven't seen it and you want to watch it, go ahead. I'm not going to recommend it though. So this continues right where we left off with Adam being stabbed by Skeletor and then Skeletor becoming Skelegod. And then we get the whole sequence where, Skeletor monologues, which, love it. I still love the monologuing for the bad guys. It's so reminiscent of the 80s and really early 90s. It's great. Excuse me. And then the sorceress helps Tila get Adam and everybody out of there. And then we're basically done with the old sorceress. That something happens to her. I'm going to do spoilers, but I don't want to do major ones. But yeah, so we get rid of that, and then Skelegod ends up making Evil Lyn the new sorceress. And he goes off studying the universe. And he's also trying to figure out where Adam and all them went. But then, Tila heals Adam by using magic that she hates. So, bingo on that one. And once Skelegod ends up finding them, we get to see something that's kind of cool, but at the same time doesn't make any sense. Like, Prince Adam turns around and calls the power of Grayskull down and turns into Savage He-Man, which I thought was actually kind of cool. Like, this whole fight sequence between him and Skeletor was actually really cool. But even Skeletor is like, wait, what? That doesn't, that's almost the exact line he has. It's like, wait, what? What just happened? He's like, that doesn't make any sense. He doesn't have the sword, but he can still call down the power of Grayskull. He's like, that doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't. So they literally acknowledge in this that it doesn't make any sense, which is crazy. I actually laughed about it because I was like, what? So we do get some good lines in this, but we also get some really bad lines. Like, just before this even happens, we get Skelegod in the projecting in the air, and we get to see Fisto and Claptrap come back. So I thought that was actually kind of cool. Was really nostalgic, And Fisto puts his fist up and says, "I would like to fist him." And I'm like, cringe. I'm like, dude, you got kids watching this. I'm like, can you imagine some little boy or girl running around being like, "I'm gonna fist you. No, I'm gonna fist you. I'm gonna fist you, Mom. I'm gonna fist you, Dad." It's like, wait, dude, that doesn't need to be there. It makes no sense. It kind of does because that's what Fisto does. There was a really old comic of this that I did see a clipping of where He-Man runs over and says, "Fisto, are you okay?" And Fisto is like, "He-Man, I fisted them, but I didn't fist them enough." Something basically like that, where he's like, "I fisted a lot of them, but I couldn't fist them all, He-Man." And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, throwback to something like that. But again, this is kind of like a kid's cartoon. You definitely don't need that in there. I would not want to take a kid to a grocery store and have them be like, "I'm going to fist you. I love fisting everybody. I'm going to fist everybody." Because I'd be like, wow, man. I would die laughing. I'd be like, yeah, we're leaving because you can't say that in public. That's crazy. But yeah, anyways, I'm getting off topic. But yeah, so the whole battle was brutal. It was great. Skelegod is literally throwing bolts at him and Savage He-Man. And Savage He-Man's just like, bah, bah, batting him away. And he's like, dude, it was great. Actually, this was probably one of the most fun parts to watch out of this whole second part. It was really fun. And so they end up getting away again because Tila uses magic. So they get away, and then Savage He-Man runs off and just starts brutally killing things. I was kind of like, was he actually just a mindless berserker in the original comics? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so, though. I think he was more like the precursor to all the champions of Grayskull, But yeah, the way they made him out to be in this, he was just a mindless berserker, mindless beast, and how they talk him down, it was kind of a touching moment where he goes to the King Randor's encampment for his army, and Randor just talks him down and tells him that he should have told him, the whole time that he was alive, that he was proud of him instead of trying to treat him bad. So this was like a touching moment here for this. And we see that Savage He-Man's completely gone for the rest of the series. So I was kind of like, wait, what? I'm like, that's kind of a bummer, but I'm like, whatever, I mean, like, so it was an arc that just didn't go anywhere. There was really no huge payoff for it. So we get one good battle, and then after that, he gets talked down and becomes Adam. And then we get some stuff with the King and Queen that really I was kind of like, whatever, I just brushed that off because it wasn't really anything that great. And then we get to like the arc for Teela and Evil Lyn. So we'll go with Evil Lyn. So Evil Lyn becomes the new sorceress. She ends up talking to Duncan after they throw him in the Man-at-Arms, after they throw him in the dungeons and stuff. And then Beastman keeps, those two keep telling her that Skeletor's better. And then she ends up tricking Skeletor into giving up the power, and then she takes it and becomes the most powerful butch character in the universe. And I mean, yeah, she literally does bicep poses where she's like, oh, I got muscles, yay, and then she goes off and she's like, I'm going to just delete you, Skeletor, and I'm going to take everything out on everybody else because you were abusive to me the whole entire time. Now, mind you, she was never together with him in the original cartoons. She was his second in command, so every time that his plans failed, he took it out on everybody, including her, because she was the second in command. So, yeah, she basically decides to take all of that out on everybody else. And she also looks at the entire universe like Skeletor was doing and realizes that it's absolutely nothing there. It's just chaos. And she wants to just take it out on everybody and stuff. So I was kind of like... So she went from having glimmers of hope of not actually being evil, because she wasn't always Evil Lyn, to literally being Evil Lyn, and just, yeah. I was kind of like, wow. So there's a backward step. You take 2 steps forward and 4 steps back. I'm like, damn. And then we go to Tila, and Tila has some really good moments, especially when she's talking to Duncan. Duncan literally says it's such an honor for her to be his daughter, and that she needs to become something more now, though, to be able to stop Evil Lyn. And then she turns around with a really good line, and she says, no, it's the greatest honor for me to be your daughter. So there was some really good father-son, father-daughter moments in this second part. So I really did like that. And then she becomes the most powerful sorceress to ever live as well. And it's all because she believes it. And she also believes that her friends and loved ones make her powerful. And she doesn't have to give up everything in order to become the sorceress. So I thought there was some really good messaging in this. There was some kind of crappy messaging in this too. But, again, then there's an epic battle between them towards the end. And then we get another battle scene where all of Eternia comes together to take on Evil Lyn and her forces, and she brings Skeleglow back, which I thought was kind of cool. So he's up on the real world, actually fighting people, so I thought that was kind of cool with a little nostalgic. They also bring some other characters back as well. And then they leave this off on a cliffhanger that literally sets up for more, and I'm like, oh, please no. I'm like, don't ruin anything else. I'm like, geez, let's just be done with this part, So the animation, I thought, was good for the most part. Again, it was just like the first part. There was no issues with the animation. The acting, I had no issues with the acting. Again, there were some bad lines in this. There were some good lines. There was some good stuff in this. There was some bad stuff. This is a better second part versus the first part wasn't really that good either. But still, it wasn't enough to really save it. So the character arcs in this were changed from part 1 again, of course, and some of them don't make any sense. Some of the arcs weren't even completed. Like, they just didn't have any payoff. Like, Savage He-Man had no payoff. It was just a one-and-done thing. So I was really kind of disappointed in that. So overall, I would give this at least a 6.2 to a 6.5. I mean, that's how much better this was than the first part. But again, it wasn't enough for me to save it. I wouldn't watch this again. I haven't even watched the first part again. So, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this if you've seen it. And if you guys like what I do, please hit the like button and also subscribe. Take care for now, everyone.